hello there. Some actual big news for Thor 5. We have a potential rumored title for the movie, as well as early details on what could be happening in this film. We do know that this is most likely happening, and then we also have really significant details on the future of his character, guys. It does seem like Thor is most likely going to die, but not before we get another Thor movie. And we even have really early details on who Chris Hemsworth wants to direct the film, and this is a really good sign for me, because I am thinking that this is like, you know, when Ryan Reynolds gets involved with Deadpool. Although I'm like slightly impartial to Ryan Reynolds at this point, I think Chris Hemsworth is showing that he passionately cares for the character by wanting to get involved and bring on certain directors and things like that. We're discussing it all in this video because there's actually still some exciting stuff left for the Thor character that we're going to explore in the next movie. We're discussing it all in this video. If you guys enjoy my Marvel content, check out my channel. I have a whole bunch more stuff like this, and let's get into it.
The Atomic Fair.
Sam Hargrave is the guy who made the Extraction films, and this is the dude that Chris Hemsworth wants to bring on for Thor 5, wants to bring a darker, more serious tone to the character and a lot less jokes, and I think that would be a great route to go for the character. But what kind of story would be developed for Thor 5? Well, we are hearing early rumors for Avengers Doomsday about Thor's look. We heard that he has a cloak with a hood, that he has his short haircut from Infinity War, and that is very much echoing the Unworthy Thor appearance of the character. Now, in Unworthy Thor, Thor's worthiness to wield Mjolnir is essentially revoked when Nick Fury whispers a phrase that makes him doubt his own purpose and identity. The events prompts Thor to question what it means to be Thor, to be worthy and to be a king. The Unworthy Thor arc explores the consequences of this loss and Thor's struggle to find meaning and purpose without his iconic hammer. Now, I don't think they're going to actually go this route in the movies, considering that in the comics there was a lot more stuff going on when Nick Fury actually whispered that into Thor's ear, essentially that the gods were unworthy, that the gods were fake, that the gods were liars and evil. This was something that happens in a drastically different story in the Marvel Universe. It happened during the original Sin storyline, where Nick Fury essentially whispered that Gore was right into Thor's ear, which made him essentially be unworthy. And we could see that translated into the movies, but I'm not sure we would actually see another Unworthy Thor storyline. I think it would go down a different route in the movies, but we actually have a lot of good early information about what we could see in Thor 5, and we were hearing a lot of early rumors that this was going to be revealed at Marvel's potential San Diego Comic-Con panel this year. That was before Avengers Doomsday got delayed, so if this movie does get announced, it's either going to get announced at D23 this year or at San Diego Comic-Con next year, which would make a lot of sense because Marvel has something big under their rug. It is clear to me that they are hiding something regarding their plans for Doomsday and Secret Wars, and we do not have all the pieces of the puzzle right now. But if this guy, James Mackwell over on X, is to be believed, he says that he's been told that Marvel will be announcing the rest of their Phase 6 at their SDCC panel. We know that part isn't happening, but he said that they'll be announcing a 5th Thor movie, and that the working title he's heard for the movie is something like Thor Hammerfall, which would tie perfectly into that Unworthy Thor storyline, and would actually shock me if they actually decided to make Thor once again unworthy of his hammer, because it's been 2 times now that Thor has essentially been unworthy of picking up his hammer in a way, or at least believed he was unworthy. I would think that they would factor that story in another way, or maybe they would factor it in the sense that Thor would lose faith in the gods or something like that. But we can assume that Beta Ray Bill is going to be in this film. We can assume that we are definitely still going to touch slightly, at least in the beginning of the movie, probably on that Hercules story, and that Thor wants to have one big final send-off for the character. So this will be a deeply emotional story arc, somehow involving that Unworthy Thor storyline, where Thor somehow loses faith in the gods, and that we're going to get that classic, or I guess iconic, it's not really classic because it's only a few years old at this point, but that kind of iconic Unworthy Thor look. We may even see him get the metal arm. I'm very interested to see how all this stuff is going to unfold and how Valhalla will play into the plot, because we've heard early rumors as well that Valhalla is set to play a very heavy role in Thor 5, with it essentially actually being a whole nother world. And we do know this already from the movies and from the comics, but it's essentially them just teleported to a whole nother world where they coexist with all of the other Asgardian gods and other gods and things like that. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about all this stuff, and let me know what you think is to come in Thor 5. Let me know if you're excited about the movie. I am very much looking forward to this because I can see now that Chris Hemsworth wants to be very involved with the film. He is very much taking this film seriously, going into both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. We can already assume that Thor is probably going to die in Doomsday. We know in the Secret Wars comic run that Thor does ultimately die and sacrifice himself in that Unworthy Thor costume, which we know is probably going to happen in the movie. He sacrifices himself fighting the Beyonders at the end of time, and really if they translate that into the movies and have him somehow die fighting God Doom, or if there's another godlike character that is introduced that we don't know about yet, or if they do actually decide to do the Beyonders on screen, all of this is yet to be determined, but we do know somehow, some way, Thor will most likely sacrifice himself. That's even backed up by early reports, not only about the movie, but probably from Chris Hemsworth himself, considering he just posted a huge tribute to Thor, which makes me think he probably just shot some of his final scenes for Doomsday where he dies and sacrifices himself. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about all this stuff, and for this video, that is all I got. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.